Hello everybody, this is Kyle from Teacher's Teacher, and in this video we are talking about some advanced editing tips and tricks that I have for using Camtasia. Now I want to start with showing you my hand positioning, which might seem like kind of a weird thing, but I wanted to show you my hand positioning on my keyboard as I am editing. And I think this is important because it allows me to actually make edits very quickly. And once you get used to it, you can kind of really just like move through edits pretty fast. So I have my pinky finger here on control. I am not doing anything really with my ring finger. I kind of have it folded there. My middle finger is on the S key, and I'm going to explain all these in a second. My pointer finger is on C, and then my thumb is sitting there on space. So having my thumb on spacebar, that is really just for quick plays and pauses very quickly. So you'll find when you're editing things and you're adding things in pretty quickly, you're gonna wanna sit there and just rewatch it for a second, right? You're gonna move the time a little bit and then you're gonna be like, okay, is that popping up exactly when I want it to?
Wasn't until around 2.3.
Play it, watch it, okay, great. Cool, we're moving on, right? So play, pause, just a quick tap with the space bar is great for that. Now I have my pointer finger on C. If I go back to this, my pointer finger on C and my pinky on control. And that's going to allow me to very easily just highlight something. And then the copy and paste functionality is the same as really you'd find in anything else like a Google Doc. Control C, copy. And then when you copy something, so let's say I'm copying this sketch motion right here, with this circle, right? This circle right here, I'm copying it. I want to move it over here, or another one. Wherever you have your timeline cursor is where that item is going to be pasted, okay? So I click on this, I highlight it, Control Copy, and then I hit Control V to paste, and you can see that it pastes it at the bottom-most track wherever my cursor is. So if I have my cursor way over here, it's going to paste it over there. It's going to paste it over there. So you always need to keep track of where your cursor is, right? Where your time cursor is, because that's where things are going to be copied. So I have, again, my pinky finger here to hold down control, and then my pointer finger going back and forth between copy and paste. Control C, copy, Control V, paste. And then I have this finger on the S key, because that is my quick split function. So if I want to split something, I can highlight it, hit S, and now I have this in two pieces, and then I'm good to go, okay? What you can also do, and what I also do very often, is move my middle finger between S and Z, because Control Z is going to undo your previous, or whatever action you just took. So for example, I just split this, Control S, or not Control S, just S to split wherever my cursor is. And then I move this, but oh wait, I don't really want to do that. Let's go back, Control Z, and then Control Z again. It's just gonna undo any actions that I've done, okay? So I think positioning is really important when you are trying to move pretty quickly and get things done efficiently. So that's what I have there. Next I have, just want to talk about volume editing, okay? So with volume editing, if I copy and paste this section over here, and let's just zoom in on it a little bit, we already know that we can change the volume by moving up and down this green bar that we have that is going to determine the volume. But what we can also do is we can add points, and we can manipulate anything within our volume in any points that we create. So what do I mean by that? So we can hover over this anywhere on my green line right here, my volume line, and I can double click to make a volume point, okay? Now I usually need more than one point to really do anything, because you'll find that if I just move this up and down, I mean, it is attached to the left-hand side, you can see, and then it's just rotating at the point. But if we want to make edits or edit something out, or if there's some kind of sound in the background and nothing else happening, we can edit that out. What I can do is make a few other points. So now, and I usually do 4 points just to make it easy, because they are attached, I can take this section and just completely drop it out. So let's listen to what this sounds like. I don't even know what it is.
But there was billions of years ago.
So again, if you're making a mistake as you're saying something, what I usually do as I'm recording is I'm usually reading from a script that I've typed out, and I'll show you more about that in the last week. But if I make a mistake, I don't stop the recording and start over with my recording thread and the time. I just pause for a second, and then I start the sentence over on my script, and then I go back and I cut that piece out or cut the volume out or just edit that section out, right? So you have the ability to totally mess around with anything with using these different points to move different things around with and just playing with your volume in general. Okay, so play around with that. And again, a lot of the audio effects, the presets, they just add those points in there for you automatically, like a fade in. And that's not going to work there because I already messed with it. So like a fade out, for example, is, just adding a point, adding 2 points technically and just fading it out to 0, right? But you can do that yourself. You can edit anything yourself. It's all there for you. So next thing I have is custom animations. So we talked a little bit about animations in the last video, but this custom animation is where you can really start to make your videos look pretty cool. So for example, if I wanted to show everybody my dirty keyboard and I wanted to make a custom animation to have this come in and maybe spin around and enter and grow. Let's say we want it to come from the left-hand side, we want it to spin, want it to do a 180, and we also want it to grow and get bigger. So what I can do is, and this is where you can kind of zoom out in your animation, in your video panel. So what I can do is I can take my image and I can actually move it off screen. Okay, so right now, if I publish this recording and it went over this section of the video, it only displays anything shown right here in the window, so I have it off the screen, right? So what I can do is I can add in a custom animation. So I'm gonna go to my animation right here, and this is me clicking the left side animation tab, and then clicking the animations, and then going to custom. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it. And what it does is it adds an arrow. Now, what's going to happen is, I zoom in a little bit, this red dot right here at the end of the animation, what I need to do is double click on this. And then once it's highlighted, you can see that this arrow turned yellow. I can go ahead and, here actually, what I need to do first, let me spin this image around. So I'm going to put the image upside down and I'm going to make it smaller. Okay, I should have done that before. That's my bad. So I'm going to go to my animation. I'm going to double click on it. And I'm going to place my image where I want it to be at the end of the animation. Okay, so you can see all I did was I double clicked on that and I put it back in the frame. I flipped it over and I made it larger. So before that though, it was inverted and smaller and it was off the frame. So if I just play this through, it jumps in like that, okay? And if I just kind of zoom in here to only view what the people watching the video are gonna see, that's what they're gonna see. And that's it's a little too zoomed in there, but they're gonna see that animation, okay? And again, I started with my with whatever media I was trying to animate. I started in the position I wanted it to start. I added in the custom animation, double clicked on the ending, and then just reframed and moved it to where I wanted it to end. Okay, so you can really get crazy with this. You can dive into a bunch of different things all moving together at the same time. Let's say I wanted to have another object kind of move through the background and kind of spin. So let's do like a star, let's say. So let's extend this, and then I'm gonna add in a star here. I'm gonna move my star off the screen. I'm gonna make it larger. And then I'm actually gonna move the star into the background. So I'm gonna drag my image above it. And let's make this even a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna start with my star right here. And then I'm gonna add in an animation. I'm gonna go to animations, custom. And I'm gonna make this one go slower, or I'm gonna make the animation last much longer. So I'm gonna click and drag this and extend the duration of how long the animation takes. I'm gonna double click the end, And I want it to end over on this side, off screen again, and flipped around. Okay? So what this should do is it should move behind my picture to the other side, off screen, and it should rotate as it is moving. So let's watch what we got here. So that's gonna fly in. And then I have it moving behind it. Okay, so really cool things that you can do, adding layers and different things like that as well, just to really add some spice, right? And I think if you are if you're designing your own intro, this is a great opportunity to use a lot of these features to make your intro look pretty cool. Okay, so that is what you can do with some advanced custom animations. And it also works with things like color changes and size and all that kind of stuff as well. Okay. Next thing I want to show you is how to group media on the timeline. Okay, and this is going to lead into the next point that I have as well, talking a little bit more about the libraries. So if I have two things that go together, right? Maybe let's say that this is my intro. Maybe I just made the intro to my video, which is just a picture of me showing my my keyboard, right? Let's say this is my intro. I'll play it one more time. Pops up. That moves across, okay? So this is my awesome intro. I only got 2 things on it, but even if I had 20 things, doesn't matter. What I can do is I can save this by grouping it together into one thread on my timeline. It's only going to take up one track, even though it's more than one item, okay? Now you can do this with however many items that you have. You can do it with any type of media. Doesn't matter if it's an image, a shape, a audio file, a video, whatever. So all I need to do is highlight everything that I want to have grouped, and then I can right click, and then I can hit group. The quick key for that is just Control G. Okay, so I'm gonna hit group, and what it did is it took all the media files that I selected and it grouped them all together into one section. I can hit this plus sign right here to open up the group so I can see my files individually if I still need to edit. But the benefit of doing something like this is that what I can then do if I have something grouped is I can right click and then I can add this group to my library. Okay, so let's hit add to library. Now you can create a new library if you want to. I have some libraries based on the channels that I work on. So let's say I want to add this to Teacher's Teacher, and this is my new intro. And I'm going to hit OK. It's going to save it. So then if I head over to my library and then my drop down, because I already created a new library, so you can go down right here, create new library. And I already had one that said Teacher's Teacher, and it added that entire group to my timeline. So now if this is my video intro and I go to make a new video, right, my next video, and all I need to do is open up my library, which is saved into the program itself. So I don't need to have anything in my media because it's not saved there, it's saved in the library. I go to my new intro, I click and drag it, and boom, there it is, the whole group, right? So I delete my old one. Here's my new one that I added. I play it, and it's the same. Okay, so this is a really awesome way to save all of your hard work if you're creating and designing things that you're going to use all the time. All right, that you're going to use for multiple videos. Group it together, add it to your library. Now, the last thing I want to show you, which is really cool if you are working with somebody else who is also using Camtasia. Okay, I recently have been working with a friend of mine who is also using Camtasia as well. We're creating content for a YouTube channel, and we share things with each other all the time. So for example, if I created the intro to our video, but we're both making videos on the same channel, and I want him to also have the same intro, and he doesn't have to make it again himself, what I can do is I can click on my new intro right here in my library. I can right click and I can hit export asset. So what this is going to do is it's going to save this, which is my new intro, right? The picture of the keyboard and the star moving across, anything in that group. It's going to save this as a special Camtasia file that I can save to my computer or save to my Google Drive, and then I can either email it or share it with the person that I'm working with. They can then go to their library and they can import that media, right? What you can also do is export your entire library. So if I have somebody working with me on Teacher's Teacher stuff, I export the whole thing as a package, I save it, I send it to them in an email or share it on Drive, and then they can come here and they can import the entire library. So all of the hard work that you put in creating all those different things, they have complete access to all of it. Okay? So those were some common things that I use and just some tips and tricks with editing to really make videos your own. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you in the next one.